going on, traders? How we doing? 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 Whew, I am tired. A little bit. Just a little bit tired. Let's see what we got for the weekend. I do not have any pepperoni. I do, I'm just not eating it. I always have pepperoni in the fridge. Come on, man. Opportunity awaits. Take the first step. Let's get to it. Vincenzo Hassela. How we doing? Welton, welcome. How we doing? 35 viewers, guys. Giving away 2 of these bad boys to a lucky winner, as well as $10 PayPal to another lucky winner. Let's get there. Hit that like button. Hit the follow button. Let's get the 35 people. We're doing that giveaway tonight, hopefully. Shin, what's going on, man? Thomas, what's up? How we doing? Opportunity waits while the master baits. I like it. So, really, the only thing that I have to accomplish here tonight, of course I ship to Canada. Nope. I don't know. I guess it would depend on how much. The PayPal I can obviously do to Canada, but the balls, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it costs that much more to ship to Canada, right? It doesn't cost that much to ship to Canada, right? But it does have to go through customs. I don't see why they wouldn't. Right? I don't know. Yes, Vincenzo. I knew what I was saying there. I've read that before. I don't mind saying it. We all do it, right? Speaking of which, if you don't know what I'm responding to, I do have Twitch and YouTube running. Maybe responding to a Twitch comment, which is David over there on Twitch about shipping to Canada, and then Vincenzo over here on YouTube. So the one thing I want to get accomplished here tonight is talking to you guys as normal. So I think I know what that is, by the way. I looked it up. It's some weird thing that apparently has something to do with bad posture and the top of your spinal cord being either injured or inflamed, which apparently gives you a headache behind your ear as well as like through the back of your jaw. So I'm guessing it's a nerve that runs up there, and man, it sucks. But so would love to get my montage sorted out, kind of go through what we did today as well as our plan for next week. And yeah, guys, the SPY is trying to V right back up to the highs and just act like nothing ever happened. So a little interesting when it comes to that. The market just says, hey, we're going to do what we want to do. But real quick, take a look at our trades from today. We traded CARS. This was basically a top tick. And there is one other thing I want to show you guys that's pretty interesting. I was just showing it to David a little bit ago. But CARS was our first trade here. Nice extension right out of the morning bell. It had that previous resistance sitting up here, but it made a huge move right up to it. We watched it go right through, put an order out there since this thing was on SSR. And sure enough, we got our fill pretty much right at the top, and we scaled out of that thing. The other trade was VSLR. I can't get enough heavy on 2 screens. Oh, a loophole. I didn't even think of that. Uh-oh. You guys might be able to figure something out there. But VSLR through yesterday's high, previous resistance, went up there to, we're actually looking closer to 7, but this thing felt super toppy. Knowing that we were trading the 112 today, we entered, felt a little toppy, and we were right. Pretty much got the top on both of these trades today. Made a big move down right to that previous resistance, and we jumped out. And we weren't wrong. As you can see, this thing did pop back up, but it ultimately did choose to go lower. So I want some balls keto style. They are keto friendly. There's no carbs in it. But yeah, that was our 2 trades today. So basically what that means for us, it means that we're going back to the 112. And I'm going to show you guys something that kind of put me over the edge last night. And again, I was talking to, I guess I don't need to bring this whole thing down. Let's see. I was talking to David about this, and I was just showing him the charts. I was talking to Tom about it earlier too, not Thomas, but Tom. And if we take a look, let's go full screen here. If we take a look at all of our losses from the day that we started doing 1-to-1, so April 2nd until today, status loss. All right. So April 2nd, SLB, all we're going to do is we're going to go through real quick and we're going to take a look at all these charts, which I meant to not do that. So SU should be the next one. Let's make sure I'm clicking the arrows in the right direction. Okay. So let's go back to SLB, which while doing this, I found out that apparently I didn't put two of my charts in, but I have them. So one of the big, sure, for sure. What's up, man? How we doing? One of the biggest problems that I've ran into was being early in my single entry trades. So what we're looking at here, I'm just going to show you guys, because what I did for David is I literally showed him every single chart that I had that was a loss. And I said, now look at these charts and see if there is any chart in there that you see that would not have worked if we would have scaled in 112. So here's chart number 1, SLB. As you can see, if we would have scaled into this one, it would have worked. Now, I'm not going to keep saying that over and over again. I'm just going to start showing you the charts. But as you can see, SU obviously would have worked. CPRI obviously would have worked. I'm not going to keep saying that either. We're just going to scroll through. But basically what I'm going to get at here is that there was maybe 2 charts where it wouldn't have worked. Now, this one would have been a 1, 1, and 2. But as you can see, it almost looks like a 1, 1, 2. But we covered for 2 losses within here and only had 1 win. So if we would have scaled into this, our average would have been 1, so about here, and then half of that would have been about here. So our average would have been around 1125, and as you can see, it comes down well below that. So that would have been a nice winner with full size. Oh, I hope I didn't click that. No. Okay, there we go. So EFC. This was that was the same. I was right because we lost on it twice, so it was in there twice. TRTX, same thing. If we would have scaled into that, it would have won. ARMK, obviously same thing. I'm just going to go to the one chart where it wouldn't have worked, so you can just see how many charts there are where they would have worked. That was a top tick, so we obviously know that one would have worked. WAL, same thing, would have worked. Same thing here, PDD. LYV. So here, if we would have taken the second trade, it would have worked. On the first trade, we only had a single entry, but the second trade, as you can see, if we would have taken that one, it would have worked there. But instead, we stopped at one and then got back in and tried to scale out. LYV again, because we lost on it twice. CNX. So this is another one where it would have worked here, and then it would have worked here, but I'm not sure if we would have stopped out like high of day here anyways before it worked. This is where it's a little iffy when looking back at charts, because if I would have hit the 2 right here at the top instead of getting stopped out, the odds are our average would have been, let's see, like right below 13. And then, so yeah, it would have definitely been over 13. It would have been like 13.10. It comes down and tests 13. I might have been looking for that to break. So the odds are we probably take off most of our position when we realize it's not breaking, thinking it's going to go back high of day, and it does here. So we probably cut it because this looks like a completely separate trade. This looks like a descending triangle trade that failed, that we ended up top ticking. So we don't always know how it would have played out. It's obviously easy in hindsight to go back and kind of say what you think you would have done. But yeah, so this one may have worked, may have not worked. It really kind of depends on how you would have traded it. And I'm trying to get to the one where I know it wouldn't have worked. Now CNX, I'll go to the dashboard because this is that one where we traded like 6 times. And I know I only put the chart on the last one because I was like, I'm not going to sit here and just put the chart on all of them. So this was that one. Okay, so I put it on the first and last one. GPS, this was a break-even trade. But as you can see, if we were 112, we were probably scaling out of this. We're most likely going to be taking some off there before getting stopped out. The rest, It should have been a small winner instead of break even. This one, 112, obviously would have worked. Trading pivots, this would have been really nice. Would have been in it all the way down here. That's what I'm actually really excited for. Scaling into a trade, then scaling out pivots. Etsy, this one would have worked. I'm not sure if we would have stayed in this, though. This probably would have just been like a small loser. Or actually, it might have been like a small winner. Which I'm not really sure why this wasn't a winner anyway. Oh, I guess because we respected the stop instead of cutting at high of day. We were trying to pivot out, I guess. Or was this slippage? I don't know. I don't remember what happened there on Etsy. This is the one. So ADVM, I think we lost on it a couple times here. Yeah. 3 times apparently. Yeah. All right. So this one, we may have scaled in. As you can see, we took 2 trades, lost both, and then we tried a 3rd time, and we ended up losing on that one too. Now, if we would have scaled in, I don't know if we would have, got some shares out here. I don't know. But we definitely would have been in most likely a losing trade because we would have got stopped out the rest. Is this the one that was like 60-cent slippage? I think it was. Let me see. Yeah, the slippage on this stop out was unreal. I remember being so pissed about that. But then, as you can see, we did take a descending triangle after the fact, and we got some of it back. But yeah, I don't think the 112 would have worked in this situation. It may have, because we might have spaced these out a little bit more, because I did kind of FOMO into that second trade just because we got stopped out. So we might have let this extend, and then we might have actually hit this at the top, and it might have been a really good trade. Who knows? But this is the one trade where I was like, I don't know if it would have or if it wouldn't have. But yeah, I agree. It would have probably been a loser. But again, we can keep going here. There's not many more. LPSN. I didn't, obviously the chart doesn't show, but if we scaled into this one, if we look over here where they have the chart that plays out the rest of the day, you can see it comes up and then it does come all the way back down below our first entry. So it would have worked out. OUT. I don't know why I didn't have a screenshot of that one. Plus I thought we had a winner on OUT as well. I think we went 1 for 2. Oh, that's probably why, because I probably have it on the winning chart. So here's another one. Obviously, if we would have scaled into this one, it would have worked. And I think that's about it. Yeah, because isn't wasn't that going back down to the bottom? Yeah, out was the last one, so SLB SU. So basically what I'm trying to get at is, since we started the one-to-one type thing, we were 56-ish%, and obviously we're negative on the account because we kept scaling up. And of course, when we scaled up that last time is when we took a bunch of losers. So naturally, the win percentage, if we were trading the same amount, we should be positive. And if you're risking the same amount every single trade, we would be positive. But 50%, 55, 56, 57% is not where you want to be. And playing the front side one-to-one type strategy, I don't see it working. So we'll see if it ends up being something that I fall back into. Like one of my big problems was I ended up with a lot of single entry type trades before when doing the 112, but we're going to try to get out of that a little bit. But again, like we'll see moving forward. So let me catch up here. One question, Tim. When you say they would have all worked out with 112, what about when your ads aren't spaced apart across the move because you really don't know where the top will be without hindsight? So you could be adding 112 and then have it go another 2 points against you before turning around. Yeah, that's very true. That's where you have a max loss. I don't know if this was you fishing for me to say that we would have a max loss. But yeah, I mean, that's how I was reading that off of Twitch, by the way, if you're not on there. That was from David. So it's that simple. You should always, no matter what strategy you're using, you should always have a max loss in place. So I don't know what that max loss is going to be. That's something we're going to kind of tinker with over the weekend, as well as like tonight. I'm going to try to figure out how we're going to determine our share size. I have a good idea. I think we're just going to go back to doing the range of a move, because that is, to me, the most consistent way to do it. Just to let you guys know, all I did today, no, just saying it might not look as good as we think. I mean, yes and no. Yeah, you should always have a max loss, but when you enter a trade, no one ever knows what it's actually going to do. I mean, this thing could have ran all the way up to 8 for all we know, right? We could have scaled in 680, 710, 750, and then it goes to 8, right? We don't know what it's going to do, but we do know that pretty much everything that comes off the scanners is an intense move. That's the whole point of the scanners, to show us the intense moves. And it's a high probability that it's going to reverse. We're not looking for the full trend to reverse per se, but when you get a very intense move, the stronger the move, the weaker the trend. It's that simple. Buy fear, sell euphoria. So when you get a big extended move, the odds are you're going to run out of buyers at some point, because you just are. The people that bought it to make it do that are no longer buying. So when they see the price up there, they're going to start to sell. And when all the noobs that bought at the top start saying, holy crap, this thing's going back down, they start selling. And then that's why a lot of times you get these big moves back down. So it's really that simple. We don't know. that's the answer to your question, is we don't know. So all you can do is put yourself in a high probability situation where you have an edge. And that's all we're doing. So if we scale into a position and it doesn't want to work after we scaled into that position, then you have to have a plan to cut that situation, or cut that trade. Now, I wish I knew one that didn't work today. Here you go. So say here at the bell, BYND comes back up and we break this resistance. I mean, this is almost perfect. So say we break this resistance, you start your position. Say you start your position. I don't do this, but say you start your position looking for this to double top at resistance. It goes through, you hit it right above resistance, and then you hit it again like at the top of this candle. Say all 3 of your entries are on this candle. So your average is probably right south of this previous resistance line. Well, guess what? It comes down, tries to get to your average, doesn't, goes back high of day. What do you do there? What do you do there, right? So let's say our average is right at this dotted green line, and the high of day gets set right here on this candle at 129.77. Comes down, it tests your average, you don't take anything off, and it starts coming back up. What's the game plan, right? The odds are, if it's doing exactly that, this thing's going to continue, right? It's going to continue. It's going to bust through and do exactly what it did before. It's going to come down, find some support. A lot of times that previous resistance gets used as support, and then it continues higher. And it looks like if we go later in the day, it kept on going, right? So we don't know if it's going to do that, or if it's going to do something like VSLR did, right? Where it goes up. I got like a little high pitch in my voice there. Where VSLR comes up, and then it pretty much trend reverses all the way back down, right? It does kind of consolidate back in that middle area, but there's times where these things will fade off all day, right? We see those too. So we don't know. The whole point, again, is to get into a position and try to put yourself in a high probability situation with an edge. So no, just saying ATH didn't work today. Let's see what Thomas. What do you mean it didn't work? It looks really good. Oh, you're talking about later in the day. I was going to say there at the bell, it looked really good. Oh, I see this move. So yeah, this is a perfect example. Thank you, Thomas. So say you're using, let's see, is this the high from earlier? Yeah, it is too. Okay. So here's the high, the previous resistance, right? Tapped it once, tried a second time, hit it a third time, and then it busts through, right? So we're scaling into this position, who knows where, and we're looking for it to come back down and retest that area. So it sets a high right here at 27.5. It pokes through, fails, and then it ends up coming back up. So what do you do there, right? You accept your loss. I mean, this is how I was playing 112 before, and it's how I plan to play it again. I do not look for a stock that's failing. If it wants to go through and fake out and then come back down, then so be it. Maybe we'll look for a descending triangle. We'll look for some other way to get into the trade. But the way that I've got burned twice with LYV and MTSI is I would get into a trade that did just this. It looks beautiful, right? It looks like a textbook parabolic type move, and we're looking for it to come back down, right? That's the edge. That's the high probability setup that we're looking for. It consolidates, and it goes higher. Well, if we go back and look at the MTSI chart, the LYV chart, it does the exact same thing. And instead of cutting right here for $150 loss, we let it go and we add to the position. And then it keeps going, and then we add to the position. And guess what? It just consolidates and goes higher, consolidates and goes higher. And then finally you've had enough, right? Finally you've had enough. And you stop out for $1,000 loss like I did on MTSI on this move through high of day right here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You've been in this thing all morning, fighting it all day. This is pretty much what my MTSI chart looked like, just fighting it all day. Your average is somewhere in here and you get busted through high of day one last time. You've had enough. You can't do it anymore and you cut your position. Guess what? This is exactly what MTSI did. Right after I cut it, I nailed the top on that thing and it came crashing down the rest of the day. The next day, it was miserable. I was miserable for a few days because of MTSI. That thing sucked. Not saying, all right, let me catch up back up. But yeah, this is why I'm saying if we go back to ATH, is a perfect example of why if a move just is not working, don't let your ego, don't let your emotions come into play. Just cut it, right? You tried to scale in. You know that it's a high probability this thing's going to pull back. It didn't. You were wrong. Cut it. Move on. Move on to the next trade. It's that simple. Don't revenge trade. You can look for this to extend again, give you the same kind of move. You could look to get back in because then it's even higher probability that it's going to pull back. But if it doesn't, don't worry about it. It's one trade, right? We're looking for a series of trades, not just one trade, right? Mark Douglas. Go listen to the Trading in the Zone if you haven't. Read it, whatever you want to do. Yeah, all I'm saying is you could do some back testing and see if it will actually make money because obviously the losers will be 3x bigger than the winners most times, so just got to have the win rate to make up for it. Well, if you actually, I'm not obviously asking you to do this, but, and yes, I do know you on your systems, and I know you're not saying it doesn't work, but you just, I agree. Since February of 2019, this is what I was using, and I was pretty consistently hitting an 89% win rate. And my P&L chart, I think we did this last Friday, or if you go look at my P&L chart from then, it shows that I was making money using the system. And until I broke the rules and fought MTSI and LYV, I was doing just fine. It was when I personally got emotionally involved in a stock and broke rules that I lost money. Like, I mean, here, I'll show you. Give me 1 second here. Oops. Sorry. Hold on 1 sec. I actually still have the video of MTSI. It's kind of funny. Here we go. All right, so here is my MTSI chart. Get this on the screen. All right, so just so you know, you can see it's MTSI. All right, so tell us a joke about Harry B. What's up, Steve? Tom, what's up, man? How you doing? So here was my first short. I tried scaling in. I got a third ad, and then it came down. I remember this, and it came back up one high of day. So what did I just tell you? Cut, right? That would have been, I did the calculation before, it would have been like $130 loss. Instead, I reduced my position to half. Came back up, and I'm pretty sure, I don't remember. Let me just look. I don't know why. So short. Oh, that's right, because I made the mistake. So, and that was I had just started the scale up, but on this trade, I noticed the range was a little bit bigger, so I wanted to scale back down, but I didn't change it in my montage. So I was in the process of going from 200 to 300 shares on a certain range, and I didn't change it. So I started with 300, and then I realized my mistake, and instead of only like adding 100 or whatever, I added 200, and then on this, I took 250 off just to when it cut here. So that's what I did. I had two entries Then I cut when it broke this high, where I should have just cut the whole position, right? Because it tried to come down, didn't work, went high of day. So right there should have been the end of the trade. But then I tried to get back in, and then it tried to come back down again, as you can see. And then when it went high of day, I cut half. And keep in mind, this thing was spready. It was like 20, 25 cent spread. And I was paying the spread almost every time I got in and out of this trade. It was horrible. So cut half again, added it back, went back up, hit high of day again, took half off again, added it back when I felt like it was the top. It wasn't, went high of day again. I fought it, or added back, went high of day again, got out half, added back, tried to cover some just to get my average up. And obviously, as you can see, that obviously didn't help too much. Added those shares back, took them off again, added them back, thinking that was finally the top, went high of day again, and we were finally done. And it was a $990.63 loss before commissions. With commissions, it was well over $1,000. It was like $1,100 or something like that. And then look at what it does here. It does go high. It does squeeze a little bit more, but then that was the end. And then the rest of the day, I don't have the chart obviously, but you can go back and check it if you really want to. But this thing ended up down at like 15 or something. I don't even remember what it was, but yeah. So basically this should have been a cut here and move on to the next trade, right? Instead, we got into a grinder, and yeah, that's what happens. So I don't have any Harry B jokes, but I'm sure he still has plenty for me. I'm going to link this to the source invite Discord. No. Zishan, what's up, man? No, you're not late. We're just getting started. But the LYV trade actually looks more like this one, where it pretty much went straight up in the afternoon, and then it kind of consolidated and then went higher. And instead of me cutting here, I decided to keep trying to add, and it literally did this. It just went sideways up there where I added more. And yeah, so that was another big loss. Already did. Cool beans. Thanks for the link there, Steve. You're such a good guy. I'm just kidding. I really don't care. But yeah, if we do, for some reason, it's funny because I'm sure everyone that plays Counter-Strike wouldn't mind. I'm doing a giveaway if we get to 35 viewers through Twitch and YouTube, doing some Balls energy drink. That's your slave name. As well as $10 PayPal. Boom. Get them in here. Maybe they'll learn something. Maybe they'll switch careers. Yep. Thomas is exactly right. It was not the system at fault. It was me. Both times. So, again, I'm keeping that in mind as we go back to this system. And, yeah. So, speaking of that, let's get to these hot buttons. I am going to turn my fan on low, though, because my computer's heating up. Just dragged my dog. He was on the cover that was under my desk. And just drag him across the floor. It's so funny. Okay. So. Yeah, all those buttons are gone. Well, I think I want to incorporate. I need to go back. I have so many of these desktops. Look how many saved desktops I have in here. It's ridiculous. I need to find the one. Let's go like a little full screen here so you guys can kind of see when I load them. I'm looking for the one that I was using when, like, I can get rid of this. I need to start getting rid of these. Like, I don't even, what Friday Night Live Stream, why did I have this one? I think it was just because I simplified it. Yeah, so I just like had one big chart. Let's pull that back up. So we can get rid of that one. Old default. Let's just go through all of these. Poor Rags. That's so funny. That's literally where my alias came from. For anybody that doesn't know, my alias when I play video games is Rags. And it's also the name of my oldest dog, which he is. Let's see if I can. He is now chilling over there on the blanket that I drug him over on. Well, that's the thing with Twitch is they literally are a platform dedicated to streaming. So it is a lot better over there for streaming purposes. YouTube is not really laid out for YouTube. And Zishan, I honestly opened up over there. I found, hold on, let me catch up here. I found $2 on the floor today and spent it on a lottery scratch off and won $50. That's awesome. Freaking compound that money, baby. Twitch does have less of a delay than YouTube. That's true. And they do pay a lot less. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I don't think I've done that lately, giving you guys an update. Let me do that real quick before we get back into these setups. Where I just kind of show you guys that you should not be on YouTube for the money. Well, I mean, I guess if you become a bigger channel, you could. But yeah, so here's the last 28 days, which it's picked up. I don't know why, but it has. But if you look here, if I hover over this, I don't know if you can see this, but it says previous 28 days, $64.83. So this looks a lot better than it really is, because usually its average is around like 70. So I mean, which isn't horrible, right? $70 a month just to do what I'm already doing. It's not horrible, but again, it's not anything to, you know, I'm not trying to make a career out of YouTube, I should say. I dropped out of school to press buttons and now I'm broke with no friends. How do I fix my life? Well, press more buttons, impress more people. I don't know. I'm just, Tom, you have friends? What are you talking about? I'm your friend. I'm just waiting for you to buy me a plane ticket, but now you're broke apparently. Liar. I know you're not broke. All right. So on this one, I think these are the buttons I'm looking for. So 50-cent single entry. The problem is I had all these preset, and this does trigger an order. What order is it triggering? Send order, trigger type, stop type. It's a range order. 20 cents up. So no, these are the new buttons that I made. These are just the old new buttons. All right, so that's not what we want. So let's keep tabs here. All right, so old default, don't really need. Don't need. So, but I'm going to keep them for now, just in case I want to come back. So I guess, oh no, I'm not going to write what they are, because I can probably remember. There's not that many. All right, open desktop, default +6. What the heck does that mean? Default +6. I don't know what that means, because oh, I have 6 extra charts. I see they're up on my other monitor, which I don't dislike, but I don't really need them. I sold my Rocket League car for day trading money and I lost that too. I haven't played Rocket League in a long time because my son was playing it, and I guess when he was done playing it, like he got bored, he dropped the controller, and now the button that or the wheel, it's like when you're using it, it's literally just like stuck going left. So, and you can like hear something's not right with it too. So yeah, I haven't played Rocket League for quite some time actually because of that. Okay, so I'm just gonna delete this one. I don't think we need this one because all I did was add some extra charts. All right, default new monitor. So I made this one based on the new monitor. So this looks like 3 charts. And okay, so let's see what these buttons are doing. Bid monitor, so share, load, but what's it for? I think this is the same thing. Well, maybe. No, I think these are the ones we're looking for. Possibly. These are share based. So I'm saying if there's a 25-cent move, we'd be looking to get in 100 shares. So it'd be 100, 100, 200. 25-cent move, that would mean we're looking for it to probably only move another like 15-ish, 20 cents. So let's see, let's pull out the handy dandy calc. So if we're in 100 shares, that'd be 15. We scaled into that, you're talking another, yeah, that's about right. And these are the other buttons I was looking for, the sell 1R and cover 1R. So we definitely need this one. All right, what is this one? Because we're going to come back to it. So we're going to make a new default montage. Default new monitor. No math. Yeah, we don't do math on Friday night live streams. I'm going to save it for tomorrow. All right, so this says default copy. So I wonder what this is a copy of. Oh, wow. This is like an old one. What do we got going on here? So this is definitely an old one. It looks like we got 4 charts. This is when I was using my other screen. Short risk off high of day, long risk off low of day. So here's cover 2-to-1 range order. So I'm assuming this is going to have a stop at the high of day. Yeah, high. Stop price high of day. Low. What's the low price? So it's the high times 1%. So it's giving it a little bit of leeway, which I will not be doing anymore. I would be putting my stops at high of day to not get crazy ass slippage. Oh, and then obviously the times 2. Okay, so that makes sense for 2-to-1. Okay, so it's basically using your current position. Okay, I remember that. So we're most likely not going to be using that. The reason I want the 1R button is so that, say we scale into a position, I want to know where at any given moment off the current high of day, what we would have to get back to in order to make what we're risking. So if at any given moment we're risking $82, just random example, I want to know where I have to get back to price-wise to make that $82, if that makes sense. So that's most likely where if we're actually scaled in correctly and we kind of hit the top, we're going to be looking to take our 75% position at that 1R area. That's the idea. Okay, so it looks like we don't need this. The short risk off high of day and long risk off low of day, that's another way to word descending triangle and ascending triangle. So I'm going to say that we do not need this one. Doing a little spring cleaning here. I like it. All right, so this was default copy. All right, default 8 middle charts. That's right, you use a keyboard to play, don't you? All right, so this is clearly not coming up on all of my screens. This was an older setup, and it looks like what I did is I used to have 2 monitors, I'm assuming, where I had 4 charts on one side and then 4 charts on the other side, because I know you can't see my whole monitor, but that's basically, and for some reason this montage is out of place, assuming it was supposed to be right there. So yeah. Friday night math stream every single Friday. The only math I can probably do is like the Rubik's Cube. I can give you guys some algorithms. That's math, right? Okay, so this one, DT. So I actually changed it to DT short, AT long. There's the cover 1R, sell 1R. Let's see what buttons I was using here. So I think this is when I had scaled down. Yeah, because I'm using 25 shares there. So yeah, this is when I really scaled down. So let's do the math here we'll do $1 because it'll be easy. So we were using 10 shares at $1. So if we were assuming it was only going to go another 50 cents on $1 move, that would mean we're only risking $5 on the first position, like $2.50 on the second. And so yeah, we were only risking like 10, 15 bucks when we were using it, for whatever reason we were using this one. So okay, so we don't need this one. because we already know that we have one that has the 1R in there. All right, so that one's gone. And this one just says default 8 charts. So what's the difference? All right, let me catch up on your chat, by the way. Let's see. Ah, yes, the old drop controller. Yeah. No, I'll tell you if I've thrown my controller. I've done that too, but every time I threw my controller, it never broke. All it took was my son to finish it off with just a drop. He was sitting in my chair, and I think he was done. I think he went to sit it on the desk, and it was like half off, and it just fell. And then ever since then, it hasn't worked. And I just haven't bought a new one because I've just been too busy. That was right around when the whole quarantine thing started happening. The whole quarantine thing started. And yeah, I don't know. I just haven't bothered. And I'm pretty sure they're all out of stock at this point now because everyone has been just playing video games. So what's the plan to manage risk going back to the OG strat? Kind of getting to that, right? The idea is to use the same equation that I was before, which we're going to get into here once I'm done with this and we get our buttons rolling. But it's basically to take a set risk amount. Say it's $50, say it's $100, say it's $500, and we're going to come up with a system based off of the range that the stock has moved and how we can scale into that position and risk based off of that. So I'm going to show you how we did it in the past and how we're going to do it now. Why does it do that? Why can't it just open like normal windows? Well, what it's doing is it's opening up when I used to have my old monitors. So ever since I opened up my new monitors, certified, you freaking, what's up, bro? Yeah, it's me. Yeah, Knockers is a jerk. I've actually been playing Valorant lately. I actually got back into CSGO, and I was getting actually pretty good at it again. But I decided to play the beta for Valorant, and I've been kind of playing there ever since. I've been playing it for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now. I really like it. It's a lot of fun. It's basically Counter-Strike, but with some magic stuff. Yeah, I'm actually already in there, believe it or not. I just don't talk to you guys. You'll see my name in there. It's like, oh, you guys have a website? I'll have to check that out. Your son is stronger than you. Apex Legend is better. I played Apex. It's not really my game. That was a little bit more Fortnite-y to me, and I'm not a fan of that. Valorant is very Counter-Strike-like, and I really like Counter-Strike. I pretty much dedicated, you can ask Knockers, I dedicated pretty much my entire teenage life. I played it for a good 10 years. And then we all cheated because we were bored and realized that we had to actually concentrate on real life. I think Steve was the only one that didn't do it. We kept him under the radar. But I think, or maybe it was Ryan. I think Steve was in on it. Maybe it was Ryan that we kept out of the loop because he was like trying to go pro or something. I don't remember. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. My name is what's my name on what? I forget what we were talking about. Oh, on Valorant? It's Ragsy Poo Poo. I think because it's based off of Riot. So it uses the same database for names and aliases as like League of Legends and stuff. So obviously I didn't just get normal Rags, so I had to get a little creative. Yeah, I think it's Ragsy, Ragsy Poo Poo together, Poo. Oh, my Discord. Let's see. The Discord should be down there in the information description. I don't even know what to call it on Twitch. It should be right below where you're typing. There should be a bar that says Discord. All right, let's get to the next one here while I'm still talking to you, so we're not wasting too much time. I can do two things at once. Don't mess with my personal life, Zishan. Get out of here. Just kidding. All right, so default 8 charts we don't need. Delete. Default 6 charts. Let's see what the difference with that is. Okay, I see you. So we're gonna have montages on both sides. Looks like I set this one up after I got the new monitor. And I remember this. Okay, let's see where we were with size. So we scaled up a little bit on this one. One share on a $10 move. Okay. I think if I remember correctly, this is when I was trying David Strat, where I would kind of add, because these are some pretty small numbers. What is your Discord name? My Discord name is Volatility Trading. Sorry. Yeah, I should already be in there. Let me say hi. What I don't know. Do you guys talk in the general the most? Just say hi. There you go. Oh yeah, it was where Steve. Yeah, that's where Steve. Go laugh at him, you jerk. You jerk. I'll give you the A-OK there. Alrighty. So this one, this is kind of what we're gonna look to get back to. But I'm gonna have the 75 and 50% buttons. But this is sort of what I want, but I don't need the short bid buy ask. I mean, I kind of do, I guess. I just have no desire to go long. So I'll probably just get rid of my long buttons for the time being. Just to like really dumb it down. So like I won't even need this. I'm just playing it out in my head. I might even, there was one time where I literally, the power went out and I sat down at the dining room table because the kids were napping, and I literally like drew out how I wanted my montage to be. It's kind of funny. All right. So we're going to keep this one, but so this is the 6 charts, but I'm just not going to get rid of it. I'm just not going to delete it, but we'll put it down here. Default 6 charts, which I don't even really know if I'm writing them down because I'm just deleting the ones that I don't need. So default 3 charts, 215 daily 2. What the heck does that mean? I don't know. Let's see what it means. Oh, okay. So I have the 2, the 15, and the daily, which is kind of what I have now. But instead of the 15-minute, I have the 60-minute. And I really love having the 60-minute on my screen. It's pretty nice. See you, Zishan. Appreciate you stopping by. Have a good weekend, man. I'll see you Monday morning. Take away that DT and AT and master the para. Master one and then add more later. Man, stop talking to me like you're me. God. You act like you know something. Where'd you learn that from? Making room on my Discord for yours? What are you talking about? I have a Discord channel, though. I'm confused. You have that is so many channels. Maybe I'll come play with you guys. You should add a Valorant channel, though. Maybe we'll get some people playing some Valorant. It is in beta right now, though, so you kind of have to go through some crap to get it. And if you haven't heard of Valorant, you should go check it out. It's pretty nice. Oh, serverless. Gotcha. Appreciate that, man. Good old certified, man. I haven't talked to you in forever. I think the last time I talked to you was when Steve randomly asked me to play a 10-man, and I hadn't played Counter-Strike in years, and I was like, why not? And yeah, it was I remember that. I didn't even bottom frag, though. I was surprised. I actually did okay. It was kind of like riding a bike. The 100 mark limit, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying. It's kind of what I've been doing for the last 2 years, since August of 2018. So coming up on 2 years. Interesting. That's crazy. You know, I asked Steve. It took us forever to figure out what his alias was on, because I remembered his name. It was Andre or Andres. Andrew, was it Andrew? Andre? I think it was Andre. But we couldn't figure out his name, which was Culture Shock. But we finally did figure it out. And it bugged the heck out of me. Do you remember Bisker? Machiavelli? I don't remember exactly which alias he used the most, but I know him by Bisker. But I still go to LANs with him. I'm actually good friends with him because he lives in Maryland with me. Yeah, Andreas Canella, that's it, yeah. And we were at a LAN together, and I just remember saying, man, what was his name? Like I could remember, yeah, Randy. Yep, that was him. I remembered his real name. Oh, is he in your Discord? There you go. But we couldn't think of what his alias was, and then we finally figured it out. Oh, do you? Nice. Well, then I'm surprised he's never mentioned that we've been playing. Oh, we don't. He's been playing a lot of Call of Duty lately, and I don't know. I never really got into it. They actually bought the game for me at the last LAN, so I'd play it with them, and I don't know. I'm not a huge Call of Duty person, but okay. Anyways, back on track. You're getting me sidetracked. Yeah, Jay Bisker, good old Jeff. He's a really good guy, and he had a kid pretty recently too. Yeah, he's really big in the PUBG and Call of Duty. Okay, so what is this one doing? This is pretty much the same thing, but it has a short ask button, which I don't really need. I think we're just going to ditch this one. So this was this one. So 2. So that means I changed something. I'm just going to get rid of this one. I've got a feeling we probably don't need it. Default 2 charts, single entry. So this must have been a recent one that I made. As you can see, yeah, we got the 60-minute. And this is when we started all the hot buttons. So yeah, we're just gonna ditch this one. Default 2 charts. So this is an old one. As you can see, it's kind of loading up off the screen. Okay, so we've seen this before. This was before we called it a descending triangle and ascending triangle. Let's see what we got for buttons here. Ooh. Looks like we were scaled up whenever this was going on. This was probably before LYV. So as you can see, that system was working for us. We just gotta get back to it and nail it down. All right, so we can get rid of that one. Default 2 charts. We know what default is. Backup default with all hot buttons. Apparently this is an old one. No, maybe. No, this is a new one actually. Fits the screen perfect. This is the old default. Yeah. Okay. I think I remember. This is like when I first changed my monitor, and I took this one and made it fit my monitor. So we don't need that one. 4 chart default. Looks like a very simple montage here. Buy, ask, short bid. Buy, bid, short, ask. Sell, take profit, long. This is one of those hotkeys that I made with Constantine. I wonder what it is. Let's see. Cancel, route limit, position ×1. So you're taking the whole position. Cover, take profit. All right. Price equal high minus average cost. Price equal price. Okay. Price average cost minus price. Round. So basically, it looks just like a 1R. I think I just was calling it something different. Right? We're taking the high minus the average cost, which is our average. So we're taking that difference, and then we're looking for it to cover at average cost minus price. So you're taking the price minus your average cost to give you 1R. Okay, so that's all that was. That was before we changed it to 1R. Okay. All right. So it looks like we can get rid of this one. And we are left with one of our old school favorites. I remember I used to load this one up for the stream all the time because it was just like when everything slowed down, I would pull this up and it was just one chart, and it had the 2-minute, the daily, time and sales, all the all the stuff everybody wanted to see, but I still had what I was looking for. So yeah, if we look at the same hot button, it should be the same hot button. Position 1, high minus average cost, price. Yep. So that's exactly what it was. We weren't calling it that just yet. So I'm probably going to keep this one and then kind of modify it a little bit because I do like having this one, because later in the day, I like having a separate setup with just one chart. So that way I can just have one chart up, but I will probably put make one big chart, and then I'll probably put like the 60-minute and the daily as smaller charts underneath. I don't know. We'll figure that out, but okay, sweet. Subscribe to your channels. Keep up the good work. I'll catch you later. All right, Certified. Yeah, man. We'll have to catch up sometime. I'll jump in the Discord at some point. We'll we'll get our conversations going on. Dennis, what's up, man? How we doing? Hopefully everybody's having a good night. Hopefully, if I don't talk to you anymore tonight, if you're getting off, feel free to have a good weekend, right? Yeah, feel free. I like how that thing is called Good Vibes. It's pretty funny. Oh. All right, so I'm going to do something just out of randomosity. Is that a word? It is now. Just for you, awesome people that are here right now. I know it's really nothing, but it's more of a game. We're going to give away $1. Hey, man, I'm just trying to give back. I don't know why, but I'm going to give back $1. Here it is. All you have to do, because I actually want to try, I need to try the YouTube. I can't even do it that way. All right, so just type in chat a number between. Now keep in mind, you have to have a PayPal account. That's the only way I can give it to you. Type a number between 1 and 100. The person closest to it wins. Let's go back to a bigger screen here. It's going to be completely random, obviously. So I will give you guys another minute. I'll give it a minute and a half. We'll do it at 11:28 Eastern, which I guess you guys can't really see the time. Oh, you know what? Actually, you can. Watch this. Boom. So we'll do it at 11:28 Eastern. Just type in any number. So we got 13. Can't pick 13 short. I know you can't see this, but pick another number. Thomas picked that on Twitch. 98, 74. Shore's going to put in a new number. Do 14. Or do 12. Whichever. If you think it's going to be higher, go lower. But I would do 14. So now Thomas only gets 1 through 13. Unless somebody comes in and does 12. That would be great. Shin did 12. That would be. I'm sorry, Thomas. No changing. I'm only letting Shore change because the number was already picked. And I might have screwed you out of $1. Oh, no. You went with 45. All right. You got 30 seconds left to enter for the $1 PayPal, which maybe I just won't send. I'm just kidding. Of course, I'm going to send it. Let's see. Pick a random number 1 through 100. All bets. Constantine said, why not? With 28, all bets off the table. Here we go. I'm acting like a casino dealer, getting ready to roll the dice. So we got Thomas at 13, Dave at 98, 74, 13, or we can't do 13, sorry, 12, 45, and 28. Let's see who's going to win. Here we go. Bing! That didn't work. I thought Google would have did that for me. Okay, so here we go. Random number generator, 1 through 100. That one doesn't count. Sorry. I like to hit the button myself. So, okay, between 1 and 100. You know what? We're going to, yeah. All right, we're going to do it twice. We're going to generate 2 random numbers. We're going to give away $1 to 2 people. How about that? All right, here we go. I think it's going to, I don't know. I've never used this one before. So you guys can see it. Okay. Go. 37 and 66. So we got, ooh, that's a close one. What's closer? Now you're going to make me do math again. Dennis, you're too late. I'm sorry. 66 is definitely going to be Thomas with 74. Now the 37 is between Constantine and Shore. Let me do math here. So Constantine is 9 away, and Shore for sure is only 8 away, right? Am I doing that right? Okay, yeah, I think I'm right. So, okay, congratulations. Shore for sure, and Thomas, you both win $1. Send me your PayPal. If you don't want to put it in the chat, feel free to just message me on Discord, and I'll get that to you. Sweet, we did a giveaway. I'm so proud, even though it wasn't at a required number that I liked. But hey, I like giving back as much as I can. I'm trying to give back. We just need the people to come back into the stream. But okay, anyways, let's get back to these montages. So let's pull up, open desktop. Let's go back to default. Donate it back to the channel. Thomas said boom, more than I made in the market. Oh, I have a feeling neither of you probably won it, but it was all fun and games. Ooh, did you guys hear that? That's nice. I'm thinking of switching my license plate to bag holder. That's a good one. Okay, let's get to these. I gotta change my. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna do this, and then I'm most likely gonna get back out of here. All right. Well, I appreciate it. You didn't have to donate it back. I appreciate that. Hopefully you guys win when we actually do some real giveaways. And as the channel grows, I do plan to do those, obviously, to give back to you guys. I would like the channel to actually grow a little bit before we start doing those types of giveaways. I don't want to be just, digging myself into a hole. You can take a shot for my $1. No, I'm not taking any shots tonight. I have to wake up nice and early because I have both kids. My Mother's Day gift to the wife, since we can't go out to dinner, buy flowers, all that good stuff. I guess I could still buy flowers, but I'm letting her sleep in both days on the weekend. So that's my gift to her. So I have to get up. Jonathan, what's up, man? How you doing? Mr. Circuit Coin, otherwise known as Jonathan. They broke a pretty cool milestone. I believe they were the first cryptocurrency sponsor of an iRacing event yesterday. I actually sat there and watched it. It was a pretty good event, and it was a pretty cool thing for Jonathan. I could tell that he was very excited. So congrats to you. All right, let's get to these hot buttons so I can, all right, delete. All right, let's make sure we don't delete too many rows here. But I know we can at least get rid of 2 of these, probably 4. Let's see, delete row, delete row, delete row. Yes, I want to delete. Okay. I do kind of agree with Thomas that maybe I should get rid of the DT short and the AT long. Well, I told myself I was getting rid of these. Right? No takebacks. Which would mean I don't need these. All right. I'm going to leave that one there just for right now, because there's no reason to necessarily get rid of it. I could just not use it, but we'll leave it there for right this second. So, okay. Let's save. And then we're going to go back and find some of the other buttons that we want. Yeah, let's get me to 15 likes. Where are all these viewers coming from? James, what's up, man? Popping in to say hi. Hi. Have a good weekend if you are popping right back out. Appreciate you stopping by. All right, so AT long. So why did we keep this one? No, this is single entry. Why the heck did we keep this one? Or you know what? This was under the don't need one. So that was back when I thought I was going to make a list. So we actually don't need that one. Default new monitor. We are not drinking yet. You popped in right after I just said why I was not going to drink. Because I have to wake up both mornings over the weekend. That's my Mother's Day gift to the wife. So I have to wake up nice and early. It's going to probably suck a little bit tomorrow, but I'm taking care of the kids for both mornings, which I'm not used to. Usually I get to sleep in on Saturdays after doing the stream. But now I'm going to stream, wake up probably at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and then have to do it again on Sunday. So it's just my gift since we can't really go out to dinner and all that good stuff. So even though I trade the DT at a 90% win rate, you know my red DT will come when I'm down on the count. But that's the beauty of a DT is it's a set risk, right? So if you're winning 90% of the time on DTs and you're taking the 1-to-1, like a DT is meant to be, that should be pretty good, right? I would think. All right, so this is one of the buttons we need. cover one R. So let's go back, open, default. Edit, cover one R, get rid, and paste. All right, save that. Yes, replace. All right, let's go back. All right, so we got that DT. I guess we can copy one of these buttons. Or were these the right buttons? No, I don't think they were. Which we're going to talk about the strategy here in a second. I just want to make sure I get the buttons that we need. Maybe that was the other. Let's see if it was this one. Easier to master one and then add to the plan. I agree with you, Thomas, but I feel like the DT is not really something that requires anything crazy. I mean, either you pull up a chart and you see a DT happening or you don't. And it's a one-to-one trade, so you get in and look for a one-to-one. So I feel like as long as you have a button where when you hit the button, it literally puts in a one-to-one range order based off of high of day, there's really not much to think about it. So it's really just if you see it, you can trade it. If not, then you just kind of leave it alone type thing. I think that's really all there is to it. So these are all the same thing, it looks like. I mean, I probably was using this type of system. Now, to give you guys an idea real quick, what I did today is I simply made a hotkey where all I did was side sell, share 1,000 price. I actually made this 750. Price was bid -3. Count don't need, route don't need, TIFF I made day, and mode load and send. That was it. Build script. So this is how easy my script was that I used today. The only problem that me and David were talking about this, how long did it take you to open an account at CMEG? Back when I did it, it took me 3 days. I sent them the first email. They responded the next morning asking for what they needed, sent it all in, and it took another day for them to process it. I was done in 3 days. So obviously with everything going on, SureTrader closing, I don't know if they're all caught up from that, but I mean, as long as you stay on top of it and you give them everything they need, it should be fairly quick. I'll tell you right now, I just today had Interactive Brokers reapprove me because I used to have an account with them. It took them a full month. Literally today was a month it took them to reopen my account. So people complain that CMEG takes like a week or two to get things done. Well, guess what? A US broker as big as Interactive Brokers also takes quite a long time to reopen an account. All I had to do was change my address. That was it. And it took them a month to do that. So yeah, I was a little annoyed with that. Maybe if I was using your new DT and AT button that figures my share size off my risk amount, did you play with any hot buttons on IB? I actually haven't downloaded the platform yet. I actually am still, I ran into an issue today. I went to link my bank account so I could do ACH between IB and my bank account. And my bank account, the main name on it was my wife. And for some reason, it was having an issue reading that I was on the account as well. So I had to call up Interactive Brokers and they had to do something, and then we finally linked it, but apparently the bank had to do something, and apparently they said it could take up to 5 business days and blah, blah, blah. It was a big hassle, but that was what I did pretty much the second half of today, was figuring out how to get that all set up. So whenever that finally goes through and the bank account is linked, I will then make the deposit, and then I would download the platform and yada, yada, yada. So yeah, Shore for Shore said took him 3 weeks with CMEG. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to vary from person to person because everybody has different situations that they're in. And CMEG is very good with making sure that you're bringing money to their brokerage that is nice and legit. And they just want to make sure that you're in a good place to be able to trade per se. So they do their due diligence, just like you should do yours. So like you are doing right now, they like to do that as well. No, I am not using the free version, the IB IBK interactive IBBK. What it? How? No, I'm confused. And it's four letters, isn't it? God. One other cool thing about interactive brokers I'm going to show you. So I'm hitting login right now on my screen, and it sends you a thing where you have to hit this button here, which will then take you, and you have to put your fingerprint in, and then it goes away, and that's actually, it goes back, and then that's how you log in. It's just a cool security feature. So if somebody like tries to log into your account, so okay, it's IBKR, Interactive Brokers. I don't know what the K is for, or the R, but it's IBKR Pro. I just logged in to figure that out. Okay, anyways. So anyways, back to the script real quick. Let me check in. Or TradeStation? What about TradeStation? TradeStation's a completely different broker / platform. Excuse me. So what I don't like about this, and we were talking about this with David, is you're doing a set position size of $750. We'll change it back to 1,000 just for simplicity's sake, off the price. So the problem with this is, say we play like our stock today of VSLR. So we have a, let's do Uber. No, yeah, Uber. So $32. I just knew it was in like the $20, $30 range. So you can have a $30 stock that moves in a 1 point range all day, right? That's the range it makes. So if you use the $1,000 example here, 1,000 divided by 32, you would get 31.25 shares, right? So 31 shares to start, or 30 if you really want to round, whatever. Now, if that moves a point, that's $30, right? Now, that's the entire range for the entire day of the stock. Now, say you pick a $30 stock that has like a little bit lower float, and it's really moving, and it has a 5 point range, and the move it's making is, say, like 3 points. Well, guess what? That same $31 you would lose on your first entry, that could be $31, is now $93, right? For the same type of move. But since you're using that same equation every single time on the same price stock, to me, that, I don't know, it just doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't really make sense. Yes, you're risking the same position size every single time, but if you're basing it off price, a stock at a certain price point can have a different range. A $10 stock can move 10 cents, or it can move $1. A $30 stock can move 1 point, or it can move 10 points. Like, you don't know that going into a trade, but you can see it. And that's why I like to personally base my trades off of the move itself, the move that it's making, the range that it is in. If you use that every single time, you're gonna get about the same risk every single time. So that's kind of why I like to use the range method versus something as simple as doing like $1,000 position divided by the price, if that makes sense. Yes, Constantine. Oh, Trader Workstation. Gotcha. Yeah, that's IB's trading platform thing. Yeah, which I do plan to use because it's a lot cheaper than DOS. And when I used them before, I do remember they had like hot buttons and stuff, but I haven't had a chance to play with it yet. I'll let you know, obviously. That's what Brian's using right? Yeah, share size. But yeah, I think he basically uses the simplistic position size divided by price. That's it. I think that's what he uses. Well, he basically says, Constantine, that I don't think this is actually what he said, but this is my interpretation of it. And actually, David kind of came up with this, and I agreed with him, that if you trade the same thing over and over again, like I'm talking thousands of trades, over the course of those 1,000 trades, you're going to have trades that only move the, say, 10 to 30 cents, and you're going to have trades that move the 1 to 3 points. So over the course of time, those are going to even out. But how Brian interprets it is, if you get into a stock where it's moving 1 to 3 points, you would slowly add into something like that, right? You would scale into that correctly. Where if it's moving the 10 to 30 cents, you would hammer the crap out of it, you know, because you obviously see that the range isn't that big. So that's how he, I think, gets like the same position size in all of his trades. Like, he's not afraid to hammer something a bunch of times if he sees the range isn't that great. And if the range is pretty big, he'll slowly add. Hey, what times of the day do you have your hat off? From the moment I stop streaming until the moment I start streaming again. Here's the balls. GDT, I'm gonna, if you want, I will drive down and give you one. You're not that far away. That could be my giveaway. I'll give it to GDT just because he lives closest. So if I can switch to trading community news, you say Ross has changed his approach a bit. Yes, he has. I think. I haven't actually went and verified this myself, but I've been told he's been not necessarily buying breakouts, but more so buying dips, from what I've been told. Like, he's actually trying. Now, why? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I speculated on that privately earlier, but who knows why he's changing it up. There's a couple different traders that are changing it up lately, and I'm actually confused why Ross would change it right now, because the breakouts are working. Like, the breakouts have been killing it lately. You see things like hit those key resistance areas and they go through. They've been working. So I don't quite get it. Yeah, Constantine, that's pretty much what he told me. So yeah, it does make sense. I just personally think that using the range is a little bit easier because you're going to be more consistent with it. So if you can, like, if I pull a chart up, let's look at VSLR. So if I pull this chart up and I see the beginning of the move started here at, say, 642, and it moved to 685. That's 40 cents, right? So I can round up to the 50 cents and I hit the button. So every time I pull up a stock, if I'm ready to get into the stock and the move was 50 cents, I'm good to go, right? I have thought about taking this one step further because pretty much all of my trades are based off of previous resistance, where I think I can make the buttons based off of that, and it'll make it even more accurate. So at this point, you can see the line is right here at like 650, like 655, and then we get in at 685. So it would be a 30 cent button, right? So it would basically be the same share size that I would have in the 50 cent button, but this way I don't ever have to predict like where the move actually started. I can just look at that previous resistance line and base it off of that. And that's something I really kind of thought about that this past week. And I've been tinkering with it in my head. So GDT may be taking a position at a certain hedge fund, rumor goes. They need to triple their offer. The good old hedge funds, they take your monies. But he is also an intuitive trader now, and he can go 1, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, and oh well, I swing it. Yeah, that's true. Bigger accounts definitely lead to bigger trades. Ross Cameron been buying dips lately and not buying breakouts. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I haven't watched one of his videos in quite some time, so I don't know if that's the case, but that's what I hear. Yeah, Constantine, I know that's what you use. I don't know. I don't like the idea of having to double click the chart to get the price and all that good stuff. I know a lot of people do it. It's just, I don't know. I don't like it. I'd rather just look at the chart and just hit one button, but to each their own, right? We all have different ideas of what's best for us. We're all going to be different. He's buying the dip and selling the rip. It's true. That is what he's doing. Maybe he just thinks it's easier for dip buying to be pushed back up to the highs than it is for a breakout to go higher than it already has. Question mark? I don't know. All right, let's finish this. I'm not actually going to get into the details of doing these buttons. I'm going to do it over the weekend. I just really wanted to get the premise of the keys set. which I think we have. Now, how many keys I'm going to have, I don't know. Like, let's go back real quick and see what we have as of right now. So I didn't copy paste that, but it's okay. I can just remake those buttons. They're really not hard. But I am only going to need 6 buttons, right? So I can delete this row and I can delete this row. So I'm going to, oh, let me reopen that. Let's keep that extra row for now, just in case I want to have 9. Like, just in case I want to have more. I shouldn't need more. You would think like a 50, 75, 1. Yeah, I mean, we'll keep it, because then if we do for some reason want to try something that's like a huge mover, higher priced, that's moving like 5 points, 10 points or something like that. So let's just get rid of 1 more row. So that way we could have those in there just in case. But I think this is what we're going to stick with. And if anybody is interested, this is the DT short button. In order to make this work, all you have to do is change what you want your risks to be. So like right here, this means I have a $30 risk. What it's going to do is, like, say this DT right here on Tesla, you can kind of see it happening here. If you hit that button saying here, it's going to look at what high of day is, and it's going to risk where you're getting in at that current bid price. It's going to figure out your shares based off of what you have that risk set at. So obviously on Tesla, it would be probably less than 1 share for $30, but you get the idea. So, and what it's going to do, it's also going to trigger a 1-to-1 order. So it's going to put a stop at high of day, and it's going to put an order out to cover at what 1R would be. So basically how it does that is it's going to take the difference in cents between where you entered and high of day, and then it's going to subtract that from your average and give you a take profit order. So that is something that is interesting to have. I'm going to just post that in both chats. So if you guys are interested in that script, there it is. It's a pretty simple one, but a lot of people might just not know how to make scripts. And I just think that's a pretty valuable one. It's a very high probability setup. Anytime that you see a nice ascending triangle. Here's another decent one. It's on a bigger time scale, but you can see obvious support forming here, starting to come down. You would think like right here on this green candle, it's a descending triangle, right? Just making higher lows, but you keep hitting that same support level. You would think it's going to come down. It actually goes back up and tries to break out of that descending triangle, but then ultimately goes down and finishes it. So the 1-to-1 obviously didn't hit here, but that's where kind of managing the trade comes into play. I obviously don't think you would let it break that key level and then come all the way back against you and stop you out. But if you're a guy that sticks to 1-to-1 regardless, so be it. But just in case you're not, yeah, there you go. So Constantine, I'm a little confused. You say I'm slow to calculate, that's why I need everything automated. But what exactly would you be calculating based off of like how I said I'm doing it? Like what to me is like what about what I said about going above the previous resistance? Like what would be calculating about that? What got you into saying R? I was using R because I was using a risk and reward, and that's what R is, right? Your risk. That's all. That's it. Pirates parts. I'm actually not going to be using R anymore. The reason I will use it, like if I scale into a position and I might hit the cover 1 R button just to see. And the reason behind that is, say a position goes against me to where I'm down $100. I would like to know where on the chart I have to get to make $100. So that's really what an R is, right? I'm risking $100 on this trade as of right now. If it goes back up the high and day, it stops me out, versus how much I'm willing to make. Do I want to make 1 R on this trade? Do I always want to make 1 R on every trade? You know, it's just a way to kind of look at it. With trading 112, it's always going to change too. So looks more like a flag than a descending triangle. Yeah, a lot of people confuse flags with triangles. A flag is more of like a pennant, like this, but a triangle, one side flattens out, right? So you have a 45 degree, right, with a flat support, and then you have a flag where it's more of like a 90, right? I guess it would be like more like a 90. What time of day do you find the most success with your setups? Definitely from the bell to 10:30. That's the first hour for sure. R. It's about the move range and share size or where to take profit, etc. I like it all automated because it takes me too long to count. Well, I mean, the ATI, I still have it down here. There you go. What's a pirate's favorite letter? It's not R. It's something to do with this. Oh, yeah. It's not R. It's the C. I'm a dad now. I get those jokes. Is 1R working for you? So that's the thing with the 1-1-2 strategy is waiting for 1R is not always going to work. So no, I'm not going to always be using the 1R. I will most likely be using, I don't want to say feel, but like when you get, like, let's look at our move on, or our trade on VSLR. So on VSLR, we had what we look for, right? The previous resistance, it went through, we got in, and it pretty much dropped right to it, right? In most cases, when you get a big move, the stronger the move, the weaker the trend. So if we get a strong move up, we got into the trade, and we get a strong move back down, the odds are it's going to reverse again. And as you can see, as we got out, especially at a key level, right? So the odds are a lot of people that would be looking to buy a dip are going to buy it at a key previous resistance to look to use it as support. And that's exactly what happened when we got out of this trade. Sorry, it's 12 o'clock, so the thing's popping up now. But we don't know if this is going to continue down or up from this point. But what we do know is after a strong move, it's going to most likely bounce back up. And that's not always the case. Sometimes it literally just keeps dropping. But was this 1R? This was way more than 1R. Like if you look at the trade, we were only risking like 3 cents and we made like 22 cents or whatever it was. Because we top ticked it. We made 23 cents. So it's really all in how you want to look at what R is, right? But what I'm looking at what R is say this kept going through 7 and then up to like 7:30 and we scaled into this. Well, now we're in 112, say we're in, we'll just use 50 as our starting share. So 50, 50, 100. So we're in 200 shares now. Well, if this kept going to say like 740 before starting a pullback, we now would be in, let's just pull out the calculator just to do a quick little thing here. So say 685 was our first entry, plus say we went for the 7 break, so 705. That puts our average at 695, and then say we hit the 2 at 725. Oh, I did divide. 695 plus 725, and divide that by 2, not times, crap. All right, clear, 14. I can't even type math right. Divided by 2. So our average is at 710. So if that went up to 740, that means we were down 30 cents. So if we take 200 shares times 0.3, we were down $60. So in order to make that $60, we would need, which would be 1R at this point, right? Because at one point we risked $60. We would need this to go down 30 cents under our average. So our average was at 710. So I mean, we would need to get that back down to 680 for us to get 1R with our current average, right? So that's what I'm getting at. That's the whole point. Now, is it always going to happen? No. A lot of times it's going to come back down to 7. 7's going to hold a support, and then it's going to continue higher. So that's where managing a trade comes in. That's where like being able to read the tape, read the price action. That's where a lot of that comes into play. And you're not always going to get 1R. If you go for 1R every single trade, I really feel that you're taking a winning strategy and you're making it a losing strategy. Like you're overcomplicating it. But this is where the high percentage win rate, because GDT, myself, we both know that this can trade 90%, right? GDT proves it. I used to prove it until for some reason I switched it after my big losses, which again, if you're just tuning in, those big losses were my fault. They were not the system's fault. I let my emotions get to me. I lost way more than I should have on 2 specific trades, MTSI and LYV. But the win percentage is there. So if you can always cut your losses at a respectable spot, winners should always outweigh your losers. And I know one of my big problems back in the past was being very patient and waiting with full size for a better exit for my take profit, especially if I'm breaking it down by like 75%, etc. So now that I've done the 1-to-1, where sometimes I had to wait a long time for that 1R to finish, if it did finish, I have now started to see charts a little bit differently. And I feel like now going back to the 112, I'll be able to hold off and get more out of my positions and allow the profits to add up a little bit more than I was in the past. And I'll see my account grow even quicker than it was before, when I would take profits early all the time. And it was so frustrating. So I think I've learned a lot since the last time I really did 112. And I think the reason I got away from 112 is because I felt like I wasn't ready emotionally. Since then, I've listened to Trading in the Zone twice, and I've tried a bunch of these other strategies, and I've realized that these just aren't strategies that work for me. And now I want to go back to what I know was working, and I want to stop what wasn't working within those strategies. So, and that's really all it comes down to. So, yeah. Yeah, twice. And there's going to be a third time. If you guys have not read or listened to Trading in the Zone and you're getting further along in your trading journey, go listen to it. It will open your eyes a lot. So, okay, let me save this real quick so I don't lose it and so I can come mess around with it over the weekend. I'm going to close it out. Do we have any other questions? I'm going to get out of here. If you guys don't have any questions, but yeah, that's all. I mean, that's really all I got. It was a pretty good stream. I think I wasn't planning on staying this long, but hey, we keep the conversation going, and we're actually doing something well, and we're getting some good questions going, and some good answers, and all that good stuff. Then yeah, I'm gonna keep it going. You return like the prodigal son. Yeah. Tim, what about your bracket system that we talked about on Discord? What did you think? Yeah, so Shore for Shore brought up an idea, and I did think about it a little bit, actually, while I was eating dinner. And I actually wrote it down. I was actually writing down. I write stuff down a lot. I'm one of those guys that keeps a notebook by his bedside, because you never know when you're going to wake up and you have that like random idea, and then you're like, I'll remember that in the morning, and then you wake up and you don't remember it. So I always write things down. But he had an idea that you scale into you scale into the trade, and then you set a bracket order, and you basically follow that bracket order. Say you make it 20 cents, and you basically just keep moving that bracket order down. And the reason I don't like that, I basically came to the conclusion that I personally don't like it, is for kind of what I told you earlier, that you're not using any sort of technical levels or the price action. You're just literally throwing a number out there, be it 20 cents, 40 cents, whatever it is. And if for some reason the price action spikes the other way for whatever reason, and it could just be chop, you could get stopped out just because you have the order in there. And then it could continue as normal. But just because that one person wanted to cover their order at that specific price, and it jumped the price back up, say 20 cents, and stopped you out on the nose, I don't like that. So that's why I don't personally like it. Where can I read up on your system? I'm a little lost. Maybe I'll make a video about it. I've talked about my system on previous Friday Night Live streams. I don't know which one specifically, where I actually like break it down, like the whole thing. So maybe I'll have to do that again. Maybe I'll just make an actual video about it. But I also want to trade it for a little while to make sure I have it down. So why are you short biased? That's a good question. The answer to that is a pretty easy one. So it's human emotion is the simple answer. The little bit more complicated answer is based off of the simple answer of human emotion. So when a stock is going down, sorry, I thought I heard my son crying. So when a stock is going down, human emotion says, why is this going down? What's wrong with this stock? Like there's no part of you that's saying, oh, this is a good opportunity to buy the stock, right? Nobody's thinking that. Not any like normal person. Like obviously traders that have been in the business for a while, they know you buy fear, sell euphoria. You know, it's kind of commonplace. But all the retail traders, the 90%, they see a stock going down. The last thing they want to do is buy it, right? Now let's flip it. A stock's going to the moon, right? Everyone is buying it as it's going to the moon. Well, guess what? As it's up there, the new traders, the 90%, even more than the 90%, start to buy that thing at the top. And you kind of run out of the people that are dumb enough to buy at the top, and you just get less and less people that are dumb enough to keep buying that thing at the top. And once everyone starts seeing this thing, they're like, oh my God, this thing went to the moon, sell, 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 right? So now they're getting excited, right? They're getting euphoric and they're saying, okay, this thing's going to the moon. I see profits. I want to start taking those profits, right? Nobody's taking profits that are all these long bias traders that as the stock's going down, right? They're the bag holders. They're just holding that thing. But if a stock's going up, all those people that are those same people that go long all the time, they're like, oh crap, take profit. Like what's one of the most common problems that traders have? Taking profits too early. So if they see something shooting up, there's always going to be like resistance as it's pushing higher, because there's always going to be people selling their stocks because that's just what people do, right? It's your human emotion to sell a stock when you have profit. So at the bottom of a long, on an intense move to the long side or to the downside, if you're scooping that up, you're kind of by yourself per se. Like you're with all the other people that are thinking the same way you are, but you're not with the normal people that are scared of a stock that's dropping. Now, when it's going up, you have all the people that are selling for taking profit, and you also have all those same people that are like-minded like you, that you know when a move is happening really fast, the odds are it's going to reverse, are now short selling. So when a stock goes down, you have one group of people trying to make the stock go back up, and then like a group of people that are just kind of halfway. When the stock's going up, you have two groups of people that are making the stock come back down, right? So that's really the explain like I'm five layman's terms kind of way of trying to explain it. So hopefully that got it across. Like it really boils down to the human emotion behind why you buy and sell. But why I prefer to short sell is because I feel like there's more of an edge. There's more of an edge when a stock goes way up, that it's going to come back down, because you have multiple people from both sides trying to make it go back down. Not trying to make it go back down, but naturally making it go back down. Where when a stock's going down, it takes a lot more for it to go back up, because a lot of people see it going down and they immediately think something's wrong. This company's going bankrupt. They had some bad news. What happened? You know, like they're going to like go research the stock before they just jump in per se. So that's really the answer that I have for that. What's right next to the Jergens? I must have missed that. It's dope how calm you are during trade, win or lose. It's the same demeanor in the tissues. Yeah, that's something that you develop over time. You start to realize, and I'm not going to lie, having a set risk, set max loss per trade, knowing that any given trade you can only lose a certain amount is such a huge thing. And until I started doing that is when my emotions really started to fade when it came to being a win or a loss. Like I can't imagine at the beginning of my trading career taking a 60-cent slippage on a stock. If you guys didn't see that from the other day, I had my stop loss sitting there, and this was a stock that was only moving 5-10 cents over the course of like 2 minutes. And a huge order came in, and my stop loss was sitting right there as a market order. It went through and went up 60 cents and stopped me out right at the top. And I was just in awe. Like my emotions were, I was in shock, but at the same time, it wasn't like mad. I was just so shocked that the stock actually did that. And I was just like, what the heck? Like I was more of like, what the heck just happened? Because yeah, it went way above my stop loss, but at the same time, I was only risking a certain amount anyway that I was comfortable with. So the fact that it did that, it sucked, and it was obviously more than I wanted, but I was still within limits, right? It was almost just like losing a second trade at that point that I didn't take, but it still sucked, obviously. But at the same time, it wasn't like I blew up my account, right? Mark Douglas, wait, because bears can hibernate and bulls can become burgers. I love my new buttons for Hive Day and 3R TP. Yeah, I remember you telling me about this, Thomas. Mark Douglas, how to think like a professional trader is the shit. Better than the books. Wait, what is that? Is that like a workshop? Because that might have been what I watched. But I remember listening to the book itself too. But I did watch one of his workshops as well. So technically maybe I've kind of watched 3 times. I've listened to the book twice and I watched a workshop once. And it was like 4 2-hour long YouTube videos. I think I have it in my educational playlist on my channel. Yeah, it's really the only way I could think to explain it. I always get a feather to put in my cap on these streams. Except for that 60-cent slippage. Yeah, that was just absolutely horrible. Yeah, if you haven't seen that, I was waiting for the punch of the camera. Yeah, that was tough. That was tough. Where do babies come from? You should ask your mom and dad about that. I think they'd have a much better answer. Yeah, me too. I don't know why I just said that out loud when I was going to type it, but any other trading questions? If not, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Have a great weekend. See you guys Monday morning. I'm tired. I'm sweating. I don't know why I'm sweating. It's like freaking hot in here. I was cold earlier. Now I'm hot. Maybe the Aleve kicked in because I took some Aleve. Yeah, I was only planning on staying here till 11:30 and now it's 12:11. So I definitely need to go to bed though because I have to wake up and I'm not looking forward to that. But all right, guys. Well, have a good weekend. I appreciate you all stopping by. Glad we did a giveaway just for it to be given back to me. You guys are awesome. Always appreciate your support. Hit the like button on the way out. I don't really know what it helps, but maybe it'll help. And I'll see you guys Monday morning. Peace.